My name's Damon Rees. I'm still a relatively newcomer to the public sector, although it's now 6 years in New South Wales Public Service. My current role is the Chief Executive Officer of Service New South Wales, and prior to that I was the first New South Wales Government Chief Information and Digital Officer. My career has primarily been digital and technology and change. A lot of time in banks, a bit of time in Woolworths as well. In my current role, I'm responsible for Service New South Wales, which is just the most, it's the highlight of my career. It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure. I guess I find two things most exciting about that: the impact that we can have on our customers every day in ways that really, really matter, and just the incredible team that I'm part of and have the privilege of working with. I couldn't ask to keep better company. I think when it comes to innovation, I don't know if it's a theory, but you just cannot take your eye off the customer. I think when innovation focuses on internal needs, when it focuses on sort of big, poorly defined opportunities, I think that tends to be when we get in trouble. I think we do our best innovation when we have a laser-like focus on what our customer is experiencing, what they need, and the way that we're going to make a difference there. We focus very much on our agility, listening, testing, learning, iterating very, very rapidly and very, very closely with customers. In parallel with that, there are enablers that we need to be working on that can have a longer time frame to deliver them, and so I think sort of that combination, but most of our focus: listen to the customer, follow the customer, really understand what we're doing and how it's going to make a difference for customers. So I think a lot of the things that we make better are actually evolution, more so even than innovation. I think great innovation is really where you're not just solving a problem that's there today or making something that we have today better, but actually how are we enabling something very different to take place, or something very different, much better to take place. An example in our space that I think is great is our use of the Dine and Discover vouchers. The use of digital technology to give government a way to target investment and stimulus in a way that we just haven't been able to do before, creating a real flywheel through building up consumer confidence coming out of crises like COVID. I think sometimes it can feel overwhelming to try and innovate. If you're in a long-established organisation, I think my advice would be start small. I think if you try and make it all-encompassing, if you try and make it really, really big, it can become very difficult to take your first steps. Go and walk in the shoes of your customers. Go and listen to your team and share experiences with your team that are serving your customers. Find a pain point that matters. Find an opportunity that matters, and then set yourself to solve that. And I think that's how you start to build momentum. A step at a time, an experience at a time. It really was great to attend Innovate NSW today. Certainly, I think my first major event since COVID. So the opportunity to connect in a real way with colleagues and partners right across the sector. It's a really special opportunity. Government is big. Government's complex. We have lots of teams working on lots of things. There's a great intent to collaborate, but sometimes we don't always have the time and the space and the place to do so. And so I think events like today are a fantastic opportunity to lift yourself out of the busy that we're all in, trying to deliver the things that we're working on, and it gives you a bit of space and a place to really connect with others, hear different perspectives, share ideas. It's a really important part of I think everyone's kind of approach.